Hey guys, it's Jenny here from Angel Handmade Papercraft. Today I am using a Club La La Land Crafts kit. I'm using the March 2016 kit. I haven't previously used that, that's why I'm bringing it out for you today. This is the kit here. I am popping the images into my Misty stamping tool for my stamping. Firstly, just cutting them apart using my Tim Holtz red scissors. Just making sure that you remove the backing paper before you cut those up. And as you're cutting, just making sure that you're using straight cuts and not curving your scissors, as these are rubber mounted stamps. I will be later on using the Avery L bookmark die and the Papercraft paper pad Sweet Pea. I'm popping the images onto Monty Color Copy 250 GSM. I'm stamping those out using Memento Tuxedo Black and just using some post-it notes to mask off certain sections that I'll need as I'm preparing these. Now I did actually have to do these twice, which you will see later on in the video. So this one here I am just using the Marci and the large Dinosaur, but when I was doing this video originally the camera died and I was already halfway through colouring, so I had to restamp. So as I'm colouring you will notice that I have added an extra image in. So you can see that here on this one here. So firstly I'm just colouring up the skin. No, I'm going to show you how I masked off and created this scene. So first I just stamped the little dinosaur in the egg. I've masked him off, then I've added the Marci. I've masked off the side of that image, and then I've stamped the large dinosaur. So I did the bookmark as well already. So now I'm just going on to the skin. I'm colouring this in real time for you, just the skin, and as I get to the other sections I will speed it up a little bit. So I am using E000, E00, E21, E11, E13, E04 and then R20 for the cheeks. So just adding a layer of the base coat, which is the E000, the lightest colour here. That just allows the markers to blend a little bit easier. Doing her face, her arms, she's got a bit of belly showing there, and then her legs. I love these La La Land Crafts images, they're absolutely beautiful to colour. So now I'm moving on to the darkest colour, which is the E04. Just adding in the shadows. Now with this E04 colour, it is quite dark. It looks very, very dark now until you start adding in all your other skin colours. So as you lay all those down, it will all blend in together and you will notice, you know, what a difference it makes. But you're just laying down just small sections to start with. Just make sure that you're using a good quality of blending cardstock or your markers won't blend together nicely. So that's all your E04. You don't need a lot of that colour like I said earlier. Now I'm moving on to my E13, and all you're basically doing is just picking up just the edge of that dark colour and bringing it into the centre. Now I do use quite a lot of markers on the skin, that's just the way that I like it. But you don't need to use as many as what I am doing. That's the E13 done. We're now moving on to the E11. Once again, you're just picking up the edge of the last marker that you used. So just just picking up the edge of the E13 and just bringing it in and allowing it to blend. Okay, so that's the E11 done. No, I'm just going to, I think I'm doing the nose here. Yep, I'm just adding in a little bit of shadow onto her nose. Now moving on to the E21 marker. So same thing, picking up the edge of the last colour that you used and slowly pulling it into the centre of the face or the centre of the area that you're colouring. Now, until you add the hair colour in later on, the skin does look very dark, but it honestly tones down a lot once you add the hair colouring in. So just carefully flicking all that colour in, working my way around her body. Moving on to the no, I'm going to add her cheeks in first so that I can blend those out before I add the last of the skin colours. So just her cheeks and her lips there. So now I'm just using the E00 to just start pulling that cheek colour into her face. So I'll do that on both sides, and then I'll start working my way around and pulling in the rest of that colour. Now when I colour, I turn my page around in circles because I do prefer to flick away from myself, so that's the way that I have to do it sometimes. So I have restrained myself a lot with this video, trying to keep it straight so that you guys can see all that. And I've popped that post-it note on the left hand side of my screen there to remind myself to pop the lids down so that you can actually see what colours I'm using when. Sometimes you just zone out and you forget. Okay, so now I am going back to my lightest colour, which is the E000, and now I'm going to pull the last of that colour in and blend all the colours in together. So as you can see, I am blending the nose in. I've pulled that colour out as much as I can now and blending them all together. So on some sections like her stomach, there won't be much to do there because obviously there's not much of an area left to go. Right, so that's her skin, and I'm just showing you here that I've used the little tiny Marci on the bookmark and coloured that one as well. So that's the original that I started colouring before the video turned off. That's as far as I got before I realised that the video had actually stopped recording. So now I've sped it up. So now you'll watch me fly through all the other colours. So we'll have all of these listed at the end. I'm not sure exactly what I used where, but I've got a list of all the colours that I've used. So it looks like I'm using the YGs here. So I used the YG61, YG63 and YG67 on the grass skirt. Well, that's what I imagined it to have been. So I'm just flicking it in from the edges to make it look like it is grass. And just going in with the YG63, pulling that colour out towards the centre. And then the YG61 to start blending it out. As much as it's grass and you want to see the little tiny strands of grass, you do also still want to be able to blend it in. So I'm envisioning that her shoes are made of grass as well by looking at the edge of them, and also her little wristbands there. So I'm colouring those all in the same YG markers. Just working my way through all of those colours. So for any of you that are interested in joining the La La Land Crafts Club, I will add the links to the bottom of the video. It's a fantastic club to be in. All of these stamps are club release to start with, and I think it's about 12 months before they actually become available individually in the shop. So anyone that's in the stamp club will receive them before anybody else, and obviously we'll get about 12 months worth of play with them before they get released. So you do normally receive a little tiny Marci as well as the normal standard size Marci, as well as a few dies. So it's quite a lot of value. You don't pay the normal full price for all of your items. You do get a little bit of a discount. And like I said, you get them 12 months before anybody else gets to play with them, and it's usually a surprise. So they will bill you through PayPal every month, and a couple of days after you get billed, that the next month that does actually get released on their Facebook page. So it's a surprise every month of what stamp club you are receiving, which is quite fun. And they are generally always Marci stamps. Alright, so I'm moving on to my E84 and E87 markers for her top there. Just adding a little bit of dot detail. I'm trying to stay with my greens and browns for all the animals in her outfit, just so that they are a bit jungly. Now doing the shell and the bone in her hair, I believe. So I'm using the W markers. I'm using W0, W3, W5, and just to blend all those in and still make it look like it's still a white object, I'm using the 0 colorless blender marker. As you can see, I do still have a few of the chow markers. Not all of my chow markers are labelled, as I stopped labelling them because I was replacing most of those with the sketch markers. The only difference between the sketch marker and the chow marker is the amount of ink that it holds. Obviously the sketch markers are a larger barrel, which allows you to fill them up a little bit more. Honestly, it doesn't matter. The chow markers are a lot cheaper to purchase, and there is a few colours that are actually not available in the chow, but for someone starting out, definitely try the chow markers first, because if you don't like them, you're not spending as much money. That's how I started out. I'm only now starting to slowly replace the chow markers, only because of how much I use them. Obviously they're running out a lot quicker. I am building up my refill collection, but you know, I don't want to be refilling my markers every day because of how much ink I have used. Look, to be honest, I still don't have a full set of markers, so there is a few of the like 4-0s and 000s and things like that that I don't have, but I do have most of the major ones. Now moving on to the next dinosaur there, I'm using the 9 markers, so I think I am using some of these on the small or the medium dinosaur and some on the large. So I'm using YG91, YG93, YG95, YG97 and YG99. I hope you guys have enjoyed my videos so far. This is quite new to me. I'm not one for talking about the things that I'm doing, which is why I normally craft alone. But I am enjoying doing this. I'm enjoying, you know, talking about what I do and, you know, showing people the work that I put into my cards and things like that. You know, sometimes someone will look at the price that you charge for a card and say, well, why are you charging so much? Well, if only you knew how long it took me to colour the images that are on your card and to make, you know, the card themselves. And sometimes I'll say to them, look, why don't you go and have a look at my videos and see how much work goes into them. And it shows people a different side. You know, just nicely to put it, it gives them a wake-up call, I guess, is the only way to say it. But do you know what? I don't do this for the money, obviously. For those that make cards themselves, you'll know that we don't do this for the money. We do it for the love of what we do, and you know, this is my place. This is what I do. I don't really have other hobbies. This is it. This is what I spend my extra money on. This is what I spend my extra time on. This is where I go when I need a break from things. This is just what I enjoy doing. So I've tried to speed this up a little bit more so that you're not watching it drag on for hours. What am I using here? Here I'm using the YG25 and YG17. Now I didn't need much of each colour, that's why I was happy to use two colours that were so far apart from each other, and they did actually still blend quite nicely together. Now I am working on the hair. I have actually slowed this video down again because I wanted you to watch the hair. The hair takes so long to do, but it's my favorite bit. So I'm using brown markers here. I'm using E23, E25, E27 and E29. Now I'm using the flicking motion today to do Marci's hair. It is the way that 99% of the time I do colour her. I think on one of my videos that I did last, I did it a different way. I did it more in chunks, but this is generally the way that I do it. Now I have cleaned off my markers. You may have seen there was a little tiny break back there. I have cleaned off those markers just to make sure that there was no, I call it ickiness on my markers, but the stickiness, which does build up on your markers. So I just use Isocol rubbing alcohol on a cotton tip, and I just give the barrels of my markers a quick clean before I use them, especially these the dark brown markers. They always seem to be sticky. I think it's probably because they're the most used of my markers. So normally, as you would have seen, I start with my lightest markers, but with the hair, because you don't want to build up way too much colour, so I am actually starting with my darkest brown markers. So I've just accidentally done a little bit of brown into the bone, so I've just used my E0 marker just to push that back in. So like I said, the colouring of the hair is quite time consuming, but it is so worth it in the end. I'll have, you know, photos and things posted at the end of the video, and you can see how much work has gone into the hair, but what a difference it makes as opposed to just doing a quick colour over it. Especially the way that this Marci's hair is. I love it. I've just noticed that I've missed some sections there. It does happen. Okay, so that's the E29 marker. Now I'm going down to my next darkest, which is the E27, and just pulling that in and adding a bit more colour. So I'm sorry that you can't see overly well of these strokes, but you do need to be quite close when you're colouring and feathering in that hair. And the easiest way to do that is just to make sure that you keep your marker straight up and down as you're flickering. Flickering, is that a word? Probably not. Flicking, I should say. See my beautiful nails? I had my acrylic nails taken off a few days ago and had S&S put onto my nails, which I've never done before, which was quite amazing to watch, but I now have no acrylic nails. But there, I love this S&S, so I'll definitely be getting it done again. Just working my way through, nearly done with the E25. Now going in, I must have done my E23 marker already, did I? Yep. Well, that's it, guys. That's all the colouring of this one. I'm just realised that I forgot to colour her bag in, so I'm just doing that. I'm using the E95, E97 and E99 markers for that one. And that leaves me just about done. And then I think I will speed you through colouring in the bookmark. But I hope you've enjoyed watching my video today. Don't forget to stop past my blog. I'll have a few details of the project on there. It may not be up until tomorrow though. My fiance's just turned up and we're just about to head up to the shop. But I wanted to get this YouTube video done for you. So there's a close-up of the one that I've just finished. And now I will just quickly zoom my way through the little bookmark. But I'll have all the links below the video of my blog, my Facebook, and all the details of colours that I've used and those things. And once I get this onto a card, I will post some extra links of that as well. So thanks for stopping by. Please hit like at the end of this video, and if you'd like to see more videos from me, you can hit subscribe so that you are told when I have new videos up. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I'm always around if anybody wants to chat. And enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you all soon. Bye.